All right, people. So I had to break in with this one here. I was working as usual in the garage, and I turned on this latest press conference that Trump and Pence are having with the Association of Police, the National Association of Police. And I had to turn it off. I had to come here and see if I can get this recording on. I'll probably be censored for my views. Go figure. We used to live in a country where you had the First Amendment, the right to your view, and the right to freedom of speech. But so what? So, anyways, along with all the other freedoms that we're losing and liberties, but I could not believe some of the things I'm hearing. This conversation between the leaders of the Association for Police and the cabinet of the POTUS and vice president, and it was. I mean, I can kind of see how people can misconstrue what they're seeing, how they can become sympathetic to the so-called plight of police officers. And let me qualify what I'm stating in my viewpoint. I'm not in any way against police officers. I have friends that are police officers. I even have an auntie who's a police officer. So, or was. So I'm not, my stance, my position is not anti-police. Okay? But information and knowledge is power. And there's always going to be abuses of power, and that's why it's our job as the people of the American, the republic, this Republican form of government, to check the power of our leaders. Okay, because if you paid attention to this, you should go on YouTube and pay attention to the press conference that he did with the National Association of Police. Just listen to the rhetoric, listen to the narratives that are being pushed, listen to the answers and questions that are being posed by the POTUS, the President of the United States, to these leaders, and listen to the cries and the boo-hoos from these members, these leaders of the Association of Police. It's like, remember when your big brother was picking on you, and mom would finally sit you and your little brother or sister down, and she would say, "You be quiet and you talk. And I want to hear what happened, what transpired, why you feel like you're being picked on." That's kind of what I'm hearing here. I mean, these are supposed to be professionals, and all I'm hearing is we're being picked on by the public. The public, they want to take our rights away to arrest them. They want to take our rights away to strong arm them and sick our canines on them. And they want... our cars and vehicles are not strong enough. We need more militarized vehicles and weaponry. They took our pepper spray away. Mr. President, is there something you could do to make sure we can get our pepper spray back and can you arm us with military grade armaments and things so that we can really kick some butt? Guys, okay. So anyways, this is on the heels. Now, mind you, none of this would even be being discussed or an issue if it weren't for this George Floyd issue and the cops, the rogue cops, the bad, if you will, cops shooting unarmed individuals who predominantly turn out to be black guys. Okay, none of this would even be so what I'm saying is basically this in regards to these requests being made, these teary-eyed complaints being made against the people, the civilian culture. Is that what I'm saying is that we got here because of certain events that were not supposed to be happening and transpiring in opposition to the constitutional protections that each of us have as United States of America citizens, okay, or state citizens. Okay, they're not supposed to be able to just shoot you when you're unarmed or for a traffic ticket or a drug incident on your record. Who cares if the individual is like, "Oh, I'm not going to jail today, I'm going to run." Why do you got to shoot? You don't have to shoot anybody in the back. Okay, the country is too small. The states are even smaller, and the cities are definitely smaller still. You're gonna catch them to them. You know, there is no reason. No one should be losing their lives for a drug offense on their record, or for a bail jumping, or because they skipped out on probation or parole. That's okay. We're gonna leave that right there. No one deserves to die for that. Okay. So what I'm saying is, now, you know, there's this battle, this division, okay, between the people and the police department, the police association. And mind you, let me remind you and inform some of you others who don't do research and on your own, it's a police association. You need to look up the definition of an unincorporated association. And you'll find that there, just like the term suggests, not incorporated. The police association is not part of the judicial branch. It's part of the executive branch. It's an administrative agency. Okay? It does not have a constitutional grant. The only constitutional grant is to the Shire of the Reef. You may know it by sheriff. That's the Shire of the Reef. That is the only constitutional officer. He or she is the only one with a constitutional grant, not the police association. Okay, that is an expansion of power. Okay, not an extension. It's an expansion, which is unconstitutional. You're not supposed to expand the powers. They can be extended. There's a difference. I'm going to get off the soapbox on that issue. That's something you're going to have to research for yourself. The general issue that I'm having here in listening to this dialogue going on before the nation is that basically it's a call for the militarization of the police department. We already have enough corruption in the authority realms. What happens now when the president gets behind the police association, which is an unincorporated association of a private, contracted styled agency, okay, without a constitutional grant? What happens when the POTUS gets behind that, when we already have people being mowed down by rogue police officers? Because what I'm hearing, and you need to hear it for yourself, is the police, one particular gentleman was saying how places like Massachusetts, okay, are actually fighting back against tyranny, against rogue police officers, okay, and trying to get them penalized more significantly, okay, for acts and impropriety in office. Okay, and the police are this individual was complaining that now they're taking away our sovereign immunities. They're basically crippling us and allowing us to be sued when we do something wrong now. And the president's like, they are? Is that a good thing? What do you think about that? He's asking people. Well, sovereign immunity is waived when there's impropriety in office. That's the way it's supposed to be. They should be in jeopardy. In fact, they should be bonded, which most of them are supposed to be bonded, so that if they commit any kind of a crime or injure one of us civilians, okay, unjustly and unconstitutionally, that the person injured should be able to lay claim to that bond and be recompensed for the damages caused by the rogue police officers or the tyrannical police officers. That's the way the system was meant to be. And here we now have complaints being lodged to the POTUS. And the POTUS is being sympathetic to this stuff. People, they militarize the police. You're going to see more of a purge type scenario. Okay? This is what you're going to see. Hold on. Yeah, so I went inside to finish this up. But, guys, what we're witnessing, okay, is the sympathetic narrative for unincorporated association, and the government, once again, merging with an unincorporated association, the National Association of Police. Okay? You have the same thing going on with the states and the feds moving into the states to address issues of unrest. Okay? Instead of the states, the governors, dealing with the issues within their sovereign borders, you have the feds moving in to do the job or to take over the job of the independent sovereign state. That's never a good thing for the people. Okay? It's never a good thing for the people. There's separation of powers for a specific reason, a very valid and specific reason. Okay? It's never good when big business and big government merge. Then you have the owners of these large corporations or associations lobbying and having a greater amount of influence in the political realm. That's your fascist state. That's never a good thing. And the move is to keep pushing the narrative that this is a political, a partisan issue. Okay, to keep every few moments in this press briefing, the president and the vice president kept saying the radical left. Okay, so they're associating the left with the civilian population that is anti extrajudicial police agencies. Okay, they're associating the two. And the more that we hear things like this, the more in our minds, because we're saying we're associating making America great with Trump. So if whenever Trump says that the radical left, okay, or speaks of the radical left and then associates the radical left with anti-police, do you see the dissension, the division that is being caused through that narrative? That's intentionally done, and it's unnecessary. Furthermore, when the POTUS, who is the commander-in-chief, okay, or the head honcho of the whole nation, picks a side against a demographic, that, how shall I put it? That tips the scales of justice in an uneven fashion. That's not what the POTUS is supposed to be doing. He or she should not be taking sides. He should be right down the middle and trying to join dissension and division. He's supposed to be bringing uniformity to the nation. But here in this press briefing, what's happening is he's picked a side. He's sided with the police officers against those who are maybe misguided, but what they're saying is on the heels of some injustices that were witnessed on national television by police officers. Shooting unarmed victims, choking unarmed victims, that type of deal. This is on the heels of that. What we need to do is bring uniformity to the nation, call wrong, wrong, and call right, right. No one's saying to put all police officers, all firemen, and other officials into one basket and call them all evil. But we need to deal with the issue that has caused, or that was the inciting situation. We need to address that issue. This is not a time to cause further division by picking a side as the POTUS. Okay? And that's what was going on in this press briefing. And that's not a good thing. I'm going to tell you what's going to transpire, what's going to happen through this. What's going to happen is